are crying since you went away. You went away. You went away. Sunshine is far away, clouds linger on. Everything I possess, now they are gone. They are gone. They are gone. Memories I have remind me of you, of you, of you. Sunshine is far away, clouds linger on. Everything I possess, now they are gone. They are gone. They are gone. Sunshine is far away, clouds linger on. Everything I possess, now they are gone. They are gone. They are oh, where can I go to and what can I do? Nothing can please me, only thoughts are of you. You just left when I begged you to stay. I've not stopped crying since you went away. You went away. You went away. The world is a lonely place. You're on your own. Guess I will go home, sit down alone. Crying and thinking is all that I do. Memories I have remind me of you, of you, of you.
Man, I love that song, man. I love that song. For me, I would say that Black Sabbath was like one of my first, I would say, poetic experience of music when I was like a teen, like listening to that record, it gave me goosebumps, my friend. How about you? How was your first, let's say Sabbath or Pink Floyd? Take a band that made you like the first counter where music and poetry crossed the roads.
Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? I got a vinyl record at a thrift shop, and I didn't grow up listening to him, and I really liked just the experimental aspect of him and how his style was just so different, you know? And then I found out he was from Seattle too, and I was like, no way, that's crazy. And then from there, right to Pink Floyd, it was a quick jump, you know? And I was into straight hip hop and rap. And so I wasn't really introduced to guitar style ballads and that music, the rock, until I was like 14. And so this is, you know, I love hearing Black Sabbath and those bands that put their whole soul into it, you know. They're awesome.
That's art, right? It's like that's like beyond just saying they're musicians, right? It's like
Oh
it's
yeah.
art. It's art. I would say some
Yeah.
of Bobby's stuff is also like what's the song when he that's the man on the moon or something like
Oh yeah.
oh that's
Um
like
um oh my god. Yes, I know that I'm doing the lyrics in my head as you're saying that.
and then you have like Pink Floyd's you know when it starts
Oh
like
man.
hello hello
Oh
is
man.
anybody in there? And the first time I heard that tune, come on, do it for me. Do it for me. Do me a Pink Floyd.
So
Do me a Pink Floyd.
this is my favorite Pink Floyd song that I play all the time, and bear with me, I'm still recovering from surgery, so I'm still enjoying it, you know, the recovery process. You remember this one?
Yeah, man.
Is anybody out there? You know, I can't do all that.
I can do the hello, hello.
Oh, I can't hear with this headphones on. Let me start again.
I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps, my friend. Sprinkle, it's been a like we've been talking about doing this thing together for like a long time, right? Like first time I met you, you know how I think it was one of your songs first, and or if we talked for I don't remember, but when once I heard one of your song, I was like, I want to talk to this person, right? Like it was amazing, man. That was like for me the first encounter with you, and then when we spoke, it was like, where have you been, my brother? Like it was like, man, I'm really so thankful that we finally get the show going, but it's going to
Absolutely.
be amazing, man.
I really was enticed to meet you because you know, I was just craving to meet different thinkers around, you know, my area. It seemed like I wasn't finding those people, and it's crazy, you know, how let me change that. That's my better feeling light for me. With COVID, I was reaching out for people and was immediately drawn to you because of the way you weren't afraid to speak your mind, and you were honest, and you were a human, and you were talking empathy and love first. And coming from the construction industry and having businesses in that industry, it's not empathy first. It's money first, and a lot of take. And I don't like that. And I really like your style. I love how you love, you know, the world in your way. And so I'm always honored to know you in a deeper way and to get to know your story. And it's so crazy how we're laced together in life through stories. How I've got to know you, being so different, and yet we've been through a lot of the same trial and errors in life. And so it's I always feel the love when I get to talk to you.
Yeah, the feeling is mutual, man. I have said to you things I never told anybody, I would say.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to say something in the book for you, but it's hard because every time we speak, we go deep, right? So I think like maybe we should take just a poetry and then we go with that, we add music and then we talk about it. So I will give you the honor to select topic. You could choose between love, depression, or insomnia.
Jeez. I freaking hate insomnia. I don't deal with that anymore. But do you still struggle with that?
Yeah, I was born struggling with that.
I was too. I've recently been over it. I hope to be over it forever.
Maybe that's the one we should go with, right?
I feel like we're, polarized on that. So let's do it. You know what? Today was the first day I slept in like so late and didn't go to bed super late, and it feels weird, because I get to this creative zone and I sleep little. You can relate. So
Yep, relate very good.
let's hear it. What kind of mood would you like? Are we looking? You want something a little minor, dreary?
I would say the same that you were playing, but even slower, I would say.
This is a Nutshell by Alice in Chains, but it's very sort of melancholy. How's that?
Yeah, it should be very melancholy, but very low, very low. Okay, let me. I'm prepared. Yeah, I'm prepared. I'm done with the poetry. Let's do it. Let me see here. Share.
How's that volume? I can back up it here.
It's good. Share screen. Let's see here. Chrome tab. Okay, here I have it. Okay, this is I have written actually a lot, like I have 4 books coming out this year.
So
I've been writing for 5 years without publishing anything. I just write. And now I have like, I don't know, like 2,500 pages. I even stopped counting the pages now because it's so much writing. And people don't know. I'm writing totally different. I wrote a child book. I wrote a poetry book. This is my poetry book that is not published, but I have a lot of poetry to read. So now I'm going to read the insomnia poetry, actually.
I love your poetry, Eduardo. That was one thing I never thought I could write. And reading yours brought me into looking at it differently as more of an expression. And just so you know, when you write things like this, I read them and sit in them. And sometimes they become different lyrics, but with the flavor. This one in particular, it's funny. Silence, because you shared with me these poetries, and it's so funny. This is the one. I'll share with you maybe in the week's time or 2 weeks' time. I have a song I'm writing like from the inspiration of this.
You know how I write? Usually I do it in one take, and then I need to just polish one. They come, and that is what when I tell people like poetry comes from the soul. So the first poetry I wrote was like it was like even not for Walmart. They were like rejected. They were like, what is this, like. So I have to say that I had to train, and then I got Dorothy Ogre in my life. She took me to another level, and she didn't do like any kind of now I'm going to give you a master class. Right. She just guided me in the direction I should go, and that is what I did. Is that I started to write directly from the heart, and then the more I wrote, the more it fell into pieces. And she gave me a really good advice. She said, the simpler, the better. I was overcomplicating the first version. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Silence. The much needed silence can feel like a mirage. When I stand in the storm, falling apart. Bullets keep flying over my head. Oh, mother, where are you? Come and take me away. Another day without sleep. My brain is a high-speed train with no destination or end. The emergency handle is broken. The demons look down on my head. The only exit I see is to take your hand and welcome my death. I just wish that the train could stop and take a break. I just want silence to get some sleep, to be left alone in my bed. Yeah, that's it. That's my insomnia. And for me, usually the insomnia is worse in a depression, right? Because then you can't. I can't, like some people. They sleep. I can't sleep in a depression. It's horrible. I can't even. If I sleep 1 hour, I'm happy. Or 2 hours, I'm so happy.
I can tell you, insomnia has made me feeling like I'm insane, losing my mind.
Hmm?
Um, and when I had my migraines that were 24/7, it was extremely hard to sleep. I could meditate and kind of pass out, like you said, for 30, 40 minutes or an hour, and I was grateful for that. But it was really hard to get a whole night's sleep or, take a solid nap. And so I really hope that you can find that magic bullet and silence that brain of yours or whatever it is that's, you know, causing this, because it's nice being able to sleep through the night. I can't believe it, especially
I think.
someone from chronic pain and a bunch of things. Like I do still sleep, I
Yeah,
sleep great.
that's the thing. The poetry here, if you analyze the text, it talks about the demons about you. So
Yeah.
it's either a depression or like the pain is, or something is not making you sleep, like a
Mm,
demon, right? And the demon could be like the pain or like anxiety or something you did wrong that you regret, really, really regret, right?
yeah.
So that the insomnia here is like, oh, I can't sleep. I don't know why. Here, you know why, right? So you say like, that's what it starts like with the thing about bullets keeps flying over my head, right? So the bullets are the anxiety, the
Mm.
guilt, or whatever you're feeling, right? That is attacking you, from all directions. So I think
Is
this is like, yeah, for me, I wrote it as a depression. I would say insomnia. That's how I wrote it.
I like to ask people this question. Is when you get guilt, is it the same as shame in your life, or are they different for you?
Question for me.
Yeah.
I have to. I noticed that my battery is dying and my charger is not working. So
Uh oh.
what I will do now is that you will play one or two songs, and I
All
will be
right.
back on this one. Okay.
All right. Here we go. Solo. Eduardo's battery has died. So I am playing music for you. This is for Jimmy Jam. This is Alice in Chains Nutshell. Guess I'll play you some original hits too. I'm not sure what the audience is, but I'll just jam out a little bit. don't know what you call that song. 2 chords I made together. Bump, 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 bump. It's called Eduardo's Batteries Recharging. I like it. My man. Oh, shoot. What else are we going to play, guys? Typically, I have a guest and I'm talking to someone. I don't do a lot of this by myself. But, I can tell everybody while I'm retuning here. This week, I went to Soap Lake. I'm living in Washington State, east of the mountains, in eastern Washington, about 2 hours east of Seattle. And it was beautiful there. If you're ever in the area, it's certainly worth a trip. It's like the most mineral-dense lake we have. And there's all kinds of healing trips from all different kind of practitioners from all over the world that come there. And probably one of the best cafes I've ever been to. What's it called? Silver Cloud Cafe or something like that. Oh gosh, and they had pho. It was just amazing. So good that my wife just went back. Oh, and inside the cafe, there's also a gift shop and an amazing hairstylist. And my wife just took my son back there today. So I went twice. I went Wednesday and Saturday, and then she went today. It's like an hour and 15 away. Very neat. Very cool. Played this much guitar in a long time in a row. So we are still waiting for Eduardo to recharge his whatever. And I'm not sure how many guests or how many people are watching in the audience. So if you're out there, thank you for hanging with me. And hope you guys are having a great weekend. I am enjoying myself. Oh man. So for those that don't know me, I just had surgery it was December. So I've been doing physical therapy on my arm and I am getting way better. But typically I haven't been playing guitar for more than a few minutes at a time or one song at a time. So I am just going to rest for a second while we wait for my man. And the electric. Oh man, I'm not sure how long. I just realized I was on mute. Holy smokes! I hope that wasn't a long time. We lost Eduardo. He had tech challenge, and so here we go. I don't know what I sound like to you guys though. So what else is going on that I could share? I too have been writing poetry. Dorothy Auger has been encouraging me. I'm in the process of co-writing, co-authoring in a book with Eduardo as well called Boys Do Cry. And so I've been doing some of my poetry to help me sort through some of the things because in the book I'm having to enter in some hard things in life that I didn't necessarily sort out as a young man, and so the poetry has been awesome. Oh, who is this? What's up, my guy? Welcome back. I was just talking about how I've been using poetry as a coping mechanism, really, for because I was doing a lot of writing, in the co-authoring and entering those stories in depth has been a bit tough sometimes, and the poetry has helped me not only write music but not feel so overwhelmed by some of those stories from the past.
I'm back.
Hello, hello. I don't. You
I'm
couldn't
back.
hear
I'm
me
back.
talking. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome back. Well, I've just
I,
been.
I was so lucky I had another computer. My other one just fried.
Oh, man. So sorry. I was just playing music. I took a little break to rest my arm. I haven't played this much guitar straight in a row. So far I've gone down the line. I'm onto the electric here.
So, should we continue on the path of insomnia?
Yes, please.
So, the cause
I'll
of my
rest my
insomnia
arm.
is usually it's either a beginning of a depression if I get one that I can't sleep maybe for 1 month. I sleep maybe 2, 3
Mm,
hours, and from there it's downhill. If I don't stop the pattern, right?
yeah.
That's how I got my first depression. Actually, I couldn't sleep for like some weeks, and then it's like poof, it just hit me right,
So
like
how do
a
you
punch in
stop
the
it?
nose.
How are you stopping it?
You need to. I think you must come to. It depends. I searched for the first time it happened to me. I didn't know how to handle it because I didn't know what it was. When my mother died, I was like in my early 20s, and I got this depression. Like I didn't know what it was. It was like very strange because I remember that I felt like cold in my knees. Like that was the
Oh,
first thing
really?
that was, yeah, and it was very strange. I was like freezing inside the skeleton, and I didn't understand this, and I didn't feel good at all, right? But I thought it was only because of my mother's death. But then after some years, when I like started to understand that I was experienced depressions every year, like seasonal depressions, actually, usually they came once per year, and it was like 1 month maybe. But then what you did is that you potted it away, right? You were like, what is this? So
Yeah.
you just potted more. Like you like,
Right.
I don't have time with this. In Chile, we say, like, or in all Latin America, we say, yo trago la depresión con cerveza. It means I swallow the depression with the beer.
With
Like
the beer, yeah.
that's like for Russia, that's for everywhere, right? Like that's
Yeah.
like international, where you drink alcohol. That is how you self-medicate, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Absolutely.
yeah, so what happened was that when I got this thing, like I was this entrepreneur, I was having all this responsibility, and I was like speeding, like I always do when I work. I don't know why I do it, but that's how I'm wired. I try not to do it, but it's hard to not fall down, right? So I was like doing less and less sleep, working more and more, and then entrepreneurs, like when they're young, we do a lot of parties also. But and you come partying from university. Like it never stops, right?
Right.
So you continue partying and you work hard and you party, work hard, and maybe you meet a relation and you calm down. But I didn't calm down, right? So suddenly it was so much stress around me, and that was like many years after when I went on this journey to understand like why people burn out and why entrepreneurs more than others are musicians and artists, right? So now when I say, I don't even use the expression entrepreneur, I say the passionate ones. I say the passionate people have the higher risk of doing a burnout, experience anxiety. And the reason for that is that your brain is always wired on your passion. So it never relaxes, right?
Right.
Like it's more easy that to not get a depression if you hate your work. Actually, you get
Mm-hmm.
anxiety,
Yeah.
but what you will do is that you will quit, right? Yeah, I hate this job. But when you're wired all the time, then it's more difficult also to take, how you say, a backlash or or a criticism or something, right?
Mm.
Because you live for this, you live for your music or whatever your passion is, right? So what that how my brain is wired, and I what I'm teaching when I lecture about like how do you find well-being as a passionate person is that you need to understand your blueprint, and that's individual. So I went on a long journey, so to tell you the story would take me like 5 shows, so you will have to read the book, but I can tell you the short version.
Mm-hmm.
The short version is that you're in a constant process of like moving in this universe, right? And you age, you get sicknesses, you're constantly changing, right? But what doesn't change is your soul. So at least you can understand something is that maybe you have traumas to deal with, right?
Right.
Maybe you have a spectra in the so-called labeling that I hate. I don't like labels anymore, because
Mm-hmm.
labels are actually, they are like these kind of things, they are like a spectrum in academical study. So they say like, okay, these balls, they lean more to the left when we throw them, so we call them the left balls, right? It's like it's
Right.
academical empirical studies, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
we have like, yeah, so I say now is that okay, maybe you fall into a group but you're still you, you're not like you're normal. I will tell you what is not normal. Not normal is a president to send to kill his own people. That is a that is an ill person, I can tell you. I have many
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, artists, poets, friends, and they all got these labels, but it says nothing about you. So this is what
Yeah.
I discovered during my research, like meeting a lot of people. I was intelligent people, everything, religious also, beauties, you name it. I talked to this very. So then I came to meet the my life coach that saved me out of the depression. I had him for 10 years. Then I asked him the question like, I want to meet something new. Don't get offended, but we will see each other for 10 years. Like, I want to try something. And he like, I don't get offended. Come on. He's like you and me, right? Like brothers. Like, have we been to war together? I, no, but maybe we have in another life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so
Sure
then he
feels
tell,
that way, right?
yeah, it feels like that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then he tells me, maybe you can meet my life coach. And I like, does my life coach has a life coach? I was like, is that even possible, right? Because for me, he was like Yoda, right? And then he's like, Yoda has a Yoda. And I was like, I have to meet that person. He says, like, yeah, Kai, his name, right? So I went to meet this Kai, you know, and I had still not find the answers to what I was looking. I understand that I can tell you about the research behind the depression, anxiety, and any disorder that you want, like HHG, bipolar, blah blah. Yeah, I researched that a lot. I can tell you,
Yeah, me too.
but and then I went to this like Kai, and I meet this guy that, and I thought my coach was tranquility, but this guy was on another level, my friend. He like, hello, do you want some tea? And I was like freaking out. I was like,
Just so
oh my
chill.
god, yeah. I was like, I want to be you, please, like, you know, like grab him, like make me like you, or I will not let you go, something like
The
that,
guy's just
right?
ultra present, just in the moment.
Ultra present. So he said like,
I love that.
Eduardo, let's go to my office. And I like, I'm still speeded, because I'm so like, oh my God, I'm meeting the guru of my guru. Like, I promise you, if he started to elevate, I will not even panic. I will like, yeah, yeah, like, I was like a fanboy looking at him, his presence. I could see his aura, man. It's like, it was like, I could almost see it, like it was so crazy, the whole thing, So, and then he like, why are you here? And I was like, what the fuck? What do I do? What do I say? And I like start to talk, right? And I'm like, yeah, Eduardo, I did this. I was bullied all my childhood, blah blah blah. And then I learned how to fight back. And then like, but I wasn't like, I didn't never become like them. Like I was like the bully of the bullies, blah blah blah. And I did the whole show, right? And then my mother died, blah, the depressions, and they become this high entrepreneur. And I lost the company. I got a new depression, and then I came back. So I did the whole story, right? And I didn't know what more to tell him because he was saying nothing. He was just looking at me with his tea, with his tea. And I was like, what do I say now? Then I start to talk about all my projects. I was, sorry, no. So I need
Was his
more.
tea cold at this point?
Yeah, I haven't even touched my tea. I can tell you. And then I do all my projects, right? And then I founded Los Digitales, and then we have the leader support group. And I was like, what the heck do I say now? Like, do I invent something? He was like saying nothing. He was like looking at me with his tea, like, and I was like, okay, what? And then he like, and I was going to, okay, now I found something more to say. And then he was like, he do like this, he like, stop. He like, stop. And he like goes up, and everything goes in slow motion like a movie. It was like a Tarantino movie, my friend. He like goes up. He's Mr. Wolf. He's the coolest of the coolest. Like, like we're not even worthy. So he like goes to the whiteboard, and then he look at me, and then he write two circles, and he said, "Who do you do this all for? Your inner self or your outer self?" And first I didn't get it, but once the coin fell to my head, man, the whole floor went down under me. I felt so ashamed, so failed, like everything. I was like, I didn't even have the answer of the question that I should have answered, right? I was like, and I consider myself quite intelligent person. I was like, and looking at him, and he like continued to tell me like what it means, see, like, Eduardo, your inner self, that is like who you are, and the outer self, that is like expectation, maybe even from yourself. He said that you're not, from your parents, from society,
The world.
and yeah, and the world. And then he says, the more you press the inner self, the more it will revolt, he said. It's like trying to stop this wave, and he didn't to say anything more, man. For me, like, I was like, okay, middle age crisis, like all these things, I like everything just fell to place, right? It was like, I don't need to like go to this guru camp with Tony Robbins. Like, come on, I'm meeting the guru of gurus. He would like did the same to him. He would like calm down. And Tony Robbins would like, he like, I'm not your guru, and he like, hey, calm down, man.
Sip
This
his
was
tea.
intelligence, yeah,
Yeah.
on another level, man. Like this was intelligent beyond intelligence. I was on this man. So, and I was like understanding, analyzing what he was saying. So I look at him and I said, so you're meaning that I'm writing this book just for my ego? And he like said, and then he said nothing. He like look at me, and then I tell him, you know what? I will go home. I will destroy the book. And he like, hey, stop. I didn't tell you to go and destroy your book. I can't tell you if you did it for your ego. Only you know that, he said. I'm just
Yeah.
telling you, you're doing a lot of stuff, man. And who are you doing it for? I was like, okay, now if he elevates, I will not even flinch, Who is calling me at this hour, man? Yeah, that was the story when I met the guru of, like, not the guru, the coach of my coach, and that changed
That's
my
awesome.
perspective, man. Forever, man.
Mm,
And that is the thing that I like with this, like, one golden nugget, man. I have to present you to Steve, and you need to join us there. That is what we do, is that we try to recollect those nuggets that happen in life, and there are not many, I can tell you. I think in my case maybe it's five that I can recognize, but if I analyze, I think it's
mm,
10, maybe, like when somebody said something to you that, like, woke you up of the matrix totally, like, even if you were like wrongly wired, it doesn't matter, it like pop
mm.
up, like boop, boop, and then you're free,
Yeah.
I that word, and it has to be the right person also. Like, it can't be like Ronald McDonald telling you to find enlightenment. So my question to you, my friend, like, what was your, like, last experience with a nugget that changed your perspective?
I mean, the most recent one is slowing down and finding out how to be present, or a lot of people use the word present. I would say learning how to be without intention, you know. Um, for instance, today is one of those days. I had a really long week, did a bunch of things, and so today was my day, and I had no agenda. I slept in, and I made things available to me that were motivating, or things that were good and easy for me, soft things. But I just took it slow, and when even this being last minute, I would have said no to you, but I was inspired. If this was something else, if it was for a business thing or some other workshop, but I'm always inspired every time we talk, and so slowing down, um, and allowing space for other people. That's the other thing. Um, Space for other people's ideas to be different than mine. I don't know that I did a great job doing that as a young person.
Can we ever be not judge, like, totally free from being judgmental? I have so hard time. I really want to never judge people, but I can't manage to stop doing it. Like, sooner or later I fall on the trap of judging, and I don't like it.
Mm.
I, like, can we ever reach there, or is it like you think it's like utopia or something, that, or a mirage,
I
a
mean,
dream?
I can say I've gotten better in ways, but yeah, I'm not better, and I I don't know what the scale is. you know, you could always be more of the guru guy. You're saying sipping the tea, and saying you're being too hard on yourself or the world or other people. Um, and so, you know, to be completely non-judgmental means you have really ultimate humility, where you can let other people be who they are and have their opinion and be their way, and know that you know um, one thing I say is I'm often wrong. I lead in an argument with I am often wrong, but this is what I see. Because um, I can be a heightened, excitable, passionate person, and so I try to soften my blow when I can be in that way.
How do you manage to do that if you meet a jerk?
Again, slowing down in general. So I've slowed my life down since a year ago. I moved away from the city of Seattle. I grew up there. I'd been there for 20 years. Um, how I deal with traffic and issues I have with driving, and stress and anxiety behind the wheel, that is really hard for me. I typically give myself a huge buffer of time, like an hour. And so when I'm going to an appointment, there is no rush. and I'll sit behind the truck that's in front of me. And I don't allow myself to pass anymore. I try to just be behind the person that's in front of me and allow space. And that's calmed me down behind the wheel, which has slowed me down in other ways. I don't come back home after driving and feel so drained. And I think you know I, I'll try not to cuss, but mf'er is like my favorite word behind the wheel. Like I just run my mouth, um, and I'm a
But that's
big
a,
time trash talker, and so I don't want to be doing that though. I want to be thinking positively instead of throwing shit at people in front of me and outside of me, because they're not ever going to hear me. It doesn't matter what I think of these people. And if I slow down and give them space, and I'm early for my appointment, I've picked up other hobbies. So I take photos. So I'll be somewhere and I'll try to find something to do. Um, yeah. Slowing down though is like, that's been really hard because I have ADHD and I'm like, I'm very highly creative and I
no,
can
you
just go,
don't.
go, go.
You know, you don't. You fall in the spectra of HHD.
Well, yeah, yeah, totally.
You can't
Absolutely.
have it because it's a spectra. It's impossible to
Definitely.
say. I would say you could say I have a broken leg, and I would tell you you're 100% correct.
No, you're
That I can
absolutely
agree
right.
on.
It's a cultural spectrum of ADHD that
Cool,
I
cool,
fall
cool.
under, you could say. Yeah, absolutely
That
correct.
that is very well.
And honestly, I don't think ADHD is negative. For me, it's a gift. It allows me to do things that other people won't do. My neighbor is a writer, Bradley Worthley. He has a book called ADHD is a gift, not a curse, or something like that. And when I moved in, he handed me the book, and I was like, that, you know, didn't think much that a neighbor would have written a book like this. But as I've read through it, he's saying the same thing. It's a spectrum. It's just a label. Don't worry about it. And if you think about it, you're actually way more capable than other people. Like how you and I can live off 4 hours of sleep and do the task and find the lost details and problem solve in our sleep, like other people don't do that. They follow the rules and they wake up, they just guck, 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 and people with ADHD, they don't think in that linear fashion. We think out of order. We think, and when we get out of order, it gives us multiple perspectives, which I think is a huge blessing. I mean, it obviously allows people like you and I ultimate creativity, especially in this realm where, in a moment's notice, we can jump on and do poetry and music together. And, that's crazy. We couldn't do this 20 years ago, right? And what a blessing this is.
Yeah, man, I got all type of labels.
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
label
Me too.
I want, the only label I wanted to have is I'm a computer nerd, so I wanted to have like like C3PO or
Right.
TCP/IP. But this is the thing. My grudge is not with label. I can tell you, my grudge is with uh, the society, because at work they say like, oh, we need to have to, like, inclusion and diversity, so maybe we should hire somebody with HHD also. Like, I met so many people in my life that are totally stupid and they have MBA and they're like on the top position on the company.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, I met jerks on the top level of society. So the label, they also fall in, like, this is the thing. Everybody falls in the spectra. You can take any human in the world. Tony Robbins, he's my favorite topic right now, because everybody like, oh, think he's a god. He's just a mortal. Don't make gurus out of mortals. Like, I love the quote in the vampire movie. He like, you're just a mortal. Yeah, we
Right.
are. Like Tony Robbins also, he's not a guru. Like, he gets his stuff, like from, his story, right? He come from this kind of empowerment talking culture, like,
Oh yeah.
Americans, and then you pay us a lot, and we will make you believe. That's
I
bullshit.
did go to some of that stuff when I was
Yeah,
younger. I was
everybody
into that.
does. Yeah, and I can tell you, now you see that I yacht again, and that is the reason
Mm,
I don't want to yacht, because maybe somebody don't suicide because of his empowerment, right?
yeah.
So who am I to judge? But my point is still the same. He's just a moron. And the same goes with a police or a judge. Like, I don't care who you are. I will not treat you as your title. And I will certainly not accept you labeling. I will treat you as a human. And I will give you the respect you deserve as a human. So I don't care if you like you're la policia, treat me with respect, don't mistreat me. Like I don't care. Like you could be the judge. Like I'm calm and say I'm the judge. Have you seen this episode of what's his name? This Hell's Kitchen.
Mm,
This
yeah.
academical guy, he comes and he freaks out because he didn't get the food. So he's like yelling in the restaurant. You know how many academical points I have? And like and then I see like what's his name again? This chef, the
Gordon Ramsay.
yeah. He just look at him and he like, you're pathetic little like wannabe man. Like, and that is how I feel when I meet these people. I can take you down to parking lot, and you will come and tell me sorry after, and thank me for teaching you a lesson of being a man, first of all, and secondly for being a human. Show some respect, please. And that is the problem I have with the labels. Is that they can be used by these assholes. Or
Mhm.
oh, sorry, I cursed now. They can be used to oppress people. But the biggest like ill person is themselves, because they are the one molesting my female colleagues. Yeah, they are the
Mhm.
one micromanagement, making people burn out. And who is the ill one? I ask myself. Is it this idiot that has like a PhD, MBA, and can't treat people right? Like, who is the ill person here? Tell me, the body grabbing president, or the you understand? So this is what annoys me when they talk about illness or like mental illness, is that you're not ill, my friend. There's only one illness in this world, and that is hate.
Mm.
Hate is the only illness we have in this world. And for that illness, it doesn't matter who was your dad, or like do you have some royal blood, or you a PhD. You can be stupid as hell, when it
Oh
comes
yeah.
to hate. So that is what I love Dimitri when he says, you always have the choice between positivity and negativity. Yeah, that was the
Definitely.
nugget
It's hard
for
to learn
me.
that, but
Yeah.
but I would say as I mature to learn that it is a choice is like ultimate maturity, right? To go, yeah, no, it's choice to go. I don't have to yell or angry or rage or allow myself to say my opinion. I can let it go. That's I think ultimate. That's where I want to be. you know.
I will never reach you. I have understood that I have some grudges I will never get away with, especially with the bullies. And I understand. Like if you analyze psychology, like where Sigmund Freud came, he said like the father of modern psychology. He says like, okay, most of the things was something that happened in your childhood, and now it's affecting you, right? And I be beaten up so many times, man. I like had my nose broken, and I could say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
5 of them were my doing. I admit, it was not when I was bullied. It was when I was fighting back. I can tell you, I admit that. But having your head put down in the toilet, my friend, having put your clothes filled with snow in the middle of the winter when you're like 7 years old, and beaten at the same time, and they say, we don't want your kind here. I can tell you, you get a grudge against bullies. Like I don't care like how old I am. If I recognize a bully in the workplace or whatever, I will let them know, because I'm the guy they call on when that happens. They know that I will not back down for nobody, even if the CEO of that company. I don't care. Like you treat people good, or I will let you know. Personally, I will let you know. And
Definitely.
if I don't do it, who does it? And they say like, Eduardo, why do you take all these fights with people? And I like, but who else will do that? Who will stand up? They tell me HR doesn't do that. They
Yeah,
work
what are
for
they gonna do?
management. Yeah, what are they gonna do? And usually HR is this like middle-aged woman, and she's terrified for that dinosaur, right? That I'm not afraid of, but she's terrified of him. I'm not. So of course they call me, right? And then I ask myself, this is the big question, like, why shouldn't it even have to be like that? Like, how come that we have a society where we let predators, uh, uh, like, what's his name, Elfstein, or what was this big Me Too predator? What was his name?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
Epstein or
Something.
something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he molested the daughters of a whole industry, and nobody punched him down, my friend. You do that with any of my friends. I don't care if you're Mr. Donald Trump. You will go, you will walk there
yeah.
like with a broken nose. Period. Like, you don't do that. You don't do that. So I'm like, how intelligent are these people? Like, just looking at a predator doing that and do nothing about it. Like, that is that intelligence? That's stupidity, my friend. The highest form of stupidity. You see, I try not to judge, but it's not easy.
Yeah, you have to put yourself in that person's spot, even in that place that you think is stupid, right? That's the ultimate form of not judging and going,
Yeah, and that is
okay,
what
if I was, if I was, Bill Clinton in the 90s, or, like in that state, like even I could be that person. That's like humility, right? To say,
man, I love
where
you. I need
where
I
do
need to
I
learn
do
that.
that in my
Yeah.
life? When I argue with my wife, when I walk away, when I'm in health, the one question I try to say is, where do I do that? Where do I do the same thing that when she does to me, and it's usually like not listening or something. And I mean, who's a great listener? None of us. I'm a terrible listener. I'm a great listener when I want to be, and I'm a crap listener when I'm not focused on other people's needs. That's just the truth.
I have actually asked myself that question because I have to be honest, like, I have actually stood by sometimes where I didn't act. But the thing is that I regret it every single day. I regret that I didn't do that. I will die regretting that I didn't stand up. I will die. But then I realized that it's part of the whole atmosphere, like a toxic culture, you could say. That you're more terrified to do the right thing and slap the predator than you're actually afraid of, I'm going to be kicked out of the industry. And that's what he used. He like, I will make sure you never work in a movie again. I was like, you tell that to me when you touch my daughter, I will like, okay, 1 second, bang, like you fall down. I wouldn't
Yeah.
take that. I wouldn't take that. Like, what can you do with your industry? But I understand when you're like making your, like, how can you say, it's your income, right? And it's like, and no, you will never become an actor again. I get that, but this is what I don't get, that is collectively is one single idiot. It's not like 99 against like one, you know so even the
Absolutely.
woman didn't say anything, like the woman in the industry said nothing.
Mm.
Nobody said anything. It was one reporter that started to, I don't know how it, I try to analyze that story a lot because I get so intrigued. Like, how can we let toxic culture live? That is what intrigues me when I do my writings for my books, right? Those are the questions that I ask myself. How can intelligent people let stupidity happen? If I had this like thesis topic, it would be like Albert Einstein's quote, like, I know that one thing is infinite, it has an end, he said, and I didn't know it was human stupidity or the universe. Now I know for sure it's the universe, but not human stupidity. So that would be my research topic, my friend, human stupidity.
I think we're all stupid at some level, right?
Yeah, but I say like we all are, but there's a level and a level. Like I would say accepting like what I just said, that
No,
somebody is preying
certainly
on our
not allowing it.
children. Yeah,
Yes, not allowing
for
it.
me,
That's
like
not okay.
that's not okay at all. Like that is not even judgeable because
Yeah.
when it finally blows up and somebody whistles, everybody is like me too, and that is what annoy me. You could have me too a long time ago, my friend. Like
Well, a
when it
lot of those
started.
people don't know how, and they need people like you and me to kick in the door sometimes, and hopefully when that happens, although it feels like a trend, more people like you and me awaken and feel like they have the power to speak, and just like you and me, we can change from our past and become a new life. you know as soon as we drop those labels from the past, even the Me Too label, like I had to drop things from my past, right? Move on. And what does that do for me? Well, it allows me more space for a new identity and a new purpose as soon as I let those things go. Now, certain things are not excusable, or and they're violations, and they do create you to be a victim. But on the outside of that, I'm telling you from my own perspective, it's actually better for me to let that go and forgive and move on as fast as I can, because when I live anywhere beyond today, I'm I'm effed. I'm still trying not to cuss, man. You know
But
what I'm saying? I need to be present, because the things even that have happened to me or that I've been a part of that make me feel shame or guilt, if I live into those today, it's not who I was wanting to be then, and it's not who I am today. It's not what I'm doing today, and it's not where I'm going. And so I have to let those things go, including the violations of the things in the past. And I'm not saying excusing crimes and all of that. That's totally different. Crimes against, people is not okay and not excusable. You know, and it is hard to bounce back against the bullying, because it happens. Actually, it's not just at school. The adults are doing it, I think, worse than anybody. Just go on
worse,
Facebook.
worse, worse than
So
anybody. Like
you know
like
so how do you combat that? Well, I can tell you, I can't be a part of Facebook, because it doesn't matter how hard I try, those people are going to continue that. They're not listening to me. Those people are looking to vent or do whatever they're doing. And what's better for me is to say, I'm not going to be a part of that. This is what I'm doing. And whether or not any of those people catch on, there'll be other people that catch on that are like minded. And hopefully we empower those people to, live their honest self and their truth, not their past, you know, through conversations like this, through the poetry, through the music, through our funny stories of our youth, like we've discussed, you know.
we have some funny stories to tell. I can tell you. Yes,
People don't even realize, like,
yeah.
they wouldn't pick the two of us, right?
I would say this show was not even a show. This was more like a warm up talk between me and D-Roo, just like warm up. I would say like this is like I would say the why do you call the band that plays before the big band? Four band. Yeah, this was
Yeah.
the four band show. I would say you don't even have a clue what we'll talk about here.
I didn't
Say,
have
but
any songs prepared, nothing.
yeah,
We were
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, press play.
And the thing is that why I'm so worried about the judge thing is that you see how now I became so angry and like stupid humans, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to go there. And that is what I
No.
love when like the Meteor Trees, he says that and I like want to have him and you by my side all the time when I go walk in life. Is like, and then the Meteor say, "Hey, Eduardo, positivity," and I like, yeah, okay, I will not even go into that direction, right?
Right.
But because this is the thing is that it's not needed, but then you need to analyze where does it come from. In my case, my father was born when I was he was prison when I was born and tortured for some years, and then was the first time that I experienced violation against humanity, I can tell you, and that put in me something that I can't tolerate it. I can't
I know.
tolerate it. I don't.
How old were you at that age? 5, 6?
I was born without my. He was
No,
prison the
no.
same year.
When you first experienced, even in sight or against someone you loved, violence, when were you first affected by that? What age, you think? You don't have to do
When
the
I
story. I'm just curious what
when
age.
I found out, I think I found out when I was 5, when my father was released, or 6, what
Mm,
they done to him. Because I remember that he woke up screaming like a madman, like madman. Imagine like the worst scream you can imagine, and I didn't know why until somebody told me they tortured your father. That's the
yeah.
reason he wakes up. And when they told me, and when I figured out what torture meant, man, my whole world fell apart like in pieces. Before
Mm,
that, it was like Disneyland, Donald Duck, and after that, it was a huge disappointment against humanity, right? Like, how can a human do that to my father? Another human. I didn't even know it was possible. Like, so that was the first time I would say.
wow. I was 6 as well, around that age, when I first experienced nothing to that degree. It was later in life when it was, I mean, not to that degree, but extreme violence or whatever you want to say, with not getting into details, you know. But it's funny, you go full circle. Um, I tried to overcompensate that by being hyper vigilant for a majority of my life. Um, One of the first things I did was I stopped carry. In the United States, it's common to carry a weapon. I'm a former Marine, and not only that, but I trained. I've been shooting, at the range with my grandpa since age maybe 3 or 4. You know, but I didn't realize I had to let go and stop carrying that with me. I mean, not only did I just carry a gun, I had a handgun and I had at least 29 rounds total, and I had 2 knives on me, and and I was always leaving the house like prepared for this extreme violence, and and I've gotten rid of all those things and sold them or traded them for guitars and musical equipment, with the mindset of these things are going to bring me life. Those things never brought me life. Because as soon as I holster my weapon, or as soon as I put one across my chest or whatever, it's like there's this whole physical posturing in me of tension. And I didn't realize that was happening. And then when I leave, I'm looking for danger. I'm expecting something awful to go down. And all of that is actually judgment. I'm going, what did this person do based upon their appearance or their walk? Did they do this? Do they do that? Which is funny, because I'm not a judgmental person based on clothing or outfits or color or any of that stuff. But I would always be out just like, if a man was being aggressive at a cashier, I'm going to shut that fool down. And I've always all my life was this like policeman for society. I mean, that's probably why I went in the Marines, thinking I'm going to save the world. And like, that wasn't me. That wasn't good for me. I solidified that I could shut things down with violence, and I did so very quickly. And like, but that was there was an even exchange for my personality for that. And so when I've relinquished my weapons, and now when I go out in society and I have a harmonica in my pocket instead, which is a legitimate thing, I walk around with a harmonica. I play one while I'm driving like a crazy person. But I'm trying to have a humor with life and a joy with life and a playfulness. And knives and guns, although I used to think those are fun at the range, it's fun to do this and that. That I don't really know that was fun. If I was honest with you, I wished I was playing music and doing things like this. To me, this is life-giving. Like when I sit down with you, whether it's alive or not, or with other human beings like you that love the world, like, and want to change things, that makes me feel different. And I don't feel hyper vigilant as much. I don't look as much for danger because I'm like, As soon as I do, I'm like, no, there's good people out there. There are Eduardos in my neighborhood that I have not met. They're we're out there, you know. And
Man,
and I
that's
have to
that.
replace the idea with with that guy's evil, this guy's evil, with maybe that person's going through pain. That's the look, not evil. Because people looked at me for years and said that guy looks aggressive. Not like this, obviously, but when I'm in public, even my wife says, "Man, you look aggressive." But I wear the pain of life on my face, and I've had a lot of physical ailments, and they sting me some days. But I'm not walking around hoping people are intimidated or scared by me. I actually really hate that these days. As a young man, I wanted that. I thought that was badass,
But
right?
that
That
was it.
was that was a
That's how we.
badge. I
That
was
was the
come at
only
me,
way.
man.
Yeah.
Look at me. Try
But that's
again. You know, it was like I was a trash talker, man. I'll shut you down. It was just like where that person is not who I want to be now. This guy looks at that guy and goes, "That was just ego. What are you doing? Stop that. You don't need to do that, man. You know, let that person think they're better than you. What's the point?"
but that's the only way we had, you know. For me, it
Yeah, yeah.
was
Oh
like
yeah,
eat.
for sure.
It was like eaten or be eaten. It was
It
not
was
like
a safety thing. Yeah,
yeah. It was like you had an option to not be beaten up. Like
yeah,
for me in the beginning, I can tell you, it was like just beaten up. But once they start to come with knives, then you need to know how to defend yourself. You need to
sure.
learn how to. I would say it's this will maybe sound strange, but I would say like you need to know how to neutralize the person because you don't want to die. It's very simple.
Yeah,
Like you need to neutralize them in any way possible. So that is what you learn because you have no other option. So you need to understand like either you run, but what do you do when you run and you hit a dead end? You're screwed, right? If you don't know what to do in that situation. So I
yeah.
think many of us, I didn't. I was a computer nerd. That first I learned how to take a beating, and I realized, oh, it didn't kill me. I cried the first 10 times. I have to be honest. I went home and
Mm-hmm.
cried. But after the 10th time, you realize, hey, by the way, this didn't kill me. I have a nosebleed or whatever bleed I have, but I don't die. And then you start to lose, like, okay, I can take a beating. That's an amazing feeling when you've been an afraid child all your
Yeah,
life, you know. And then the second one was that when you learn how to beat up people, then it's like or not beat up people, I would say like how to beat somebody that is attacking you.
right.
And
To shut
then
down the threat, right?
yeah,
To
when you
stop the
learn
threat.
that
Yeah,
like when you learn that for real, like how to like even if they come with a knife or but I would say that's a stupid thing to say because when you
sure.
see a person with a knife you should just run.
Yeah,
Like
leave them out of it.
yeah, run
Just,
away. Like
oh
don't
man.
try no fancy self-defense tricks to a person with a knife. Like okay, anyways, that's another topic, self-defense.
Yeah,
So
throw a
once you
chair at them and run.
yeah. So once you learn how to punch somebody down that is attacking you, then you get this huge feeling like, and then you want revenge. At least if you're like 20, right? I was like, if I meet that skinheads that beat me up, they're going to feel sorry. But the problem is that that was his Dimitri's time to say, right? Like, and you're saying the same. That you choose the negativity when you do that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I was doing that for years. That, and I thought I had released all of the hate and stuff like that, you know. But I still today can get into the situation that it's somebody like, for example, these two drunk teenager were teasing a handicapped man in a chair, and I was with my son, and nobody did anything, and they continued and continued.
Oh man.
And I lost it, my friend. I lost it big time. And I like stood up like this. I looked at my son and said, take it easy, don't panic. And then I just went to him and like, yeah, what happened happened. But anyway, they backed down, asked for forgiveness and all the shit. And everybody was like, and then I come to my son, you know, and he was terrified, not of them, but of me. And then it
Right.
was like, what the heck am I doing? And that was for me a change, I can tell you, in my mental view of the whole game, like when you need
Hmm.
to step up, it's like now I have to consider of his well-being, right?
Let me ask you, could you have shut that same situation down with love instead
Yes,
of violence? Because I've
yes.
never tried, but I would like to if it
Yeah,
happens.
that is what I want to learn. That
You
was my
know,
thing, that maybe, and that is why I realized that maybe I could have done it in a different way, because I don't want my son to be scared that, like, I didn't hurt them, by the way, I just put them in place.
sure.
But
I
if
can tell you though, I have my children have been around me acting in that way, and I have frightened them. And now I'm older, my kids, my youngest is almost 18, my oldest is 23, and my oldest daughter, she mentioned the other day, it was funny, because we were talking about her boyfriend. They were high school dated, they dated in high school and then just saw each other again, and they're dating. But he was very intimidated by me at that stage of life, and I was an intimidating person, and I wouldn't be sitting down with you like this because I don't know who I was. And now my daughter was laughing because she goes, "You don't even know. Like, I used to be intimidated by you, Dad, and now I see how laughable that is. Like you're such a easygoing person, and all of that was such an overcompensation." And that's so true. It's crazy to hear that from your kid, to go, "Yeah, you were just out of whack then, and I'm not scared of you." I'm really glad they're not, right? I don't want my kids to fear me or to equate their father with any kind of overwhelming reaction in public, or I don't want them to see me doing that. But I've been in that situation where I put myself in this situation as the sort of policeman of the parking lot, when this stuff happens. And I'll grab you by your collar. Not now. I shouldn't say now. I would be the person to grab you by the back of your collar and move you around in a way that you would stop acting the way you were. And I didn't
yeah,
always have to punch people or do violent things. But you know what? In my voice and my demeanor, I was violence. I was portraying violence, and my kids saw that. And in that they had a fear relationship with that activity in me. And so when they would act the fool at home, as kids do, uh, and I would get upset, they would equate anger with that. And like it was too close, anger and rage, and they became afraid of me. And so it took me years to stop the raging, but I can tell you it doesn't happen as much. And now everyone has permission to put their hand up mid rage when dad does this. Put your hand up and stop me, because I don't want that. For me, I don't want to display myself as a dad, or as a man next to you, just a human next to you. I shouldn't put that on you. So put your hand up and shut me down. And they do. Not always do they feel that they can. They'll come back to me and say, "Yeah, you screwed up again. Please don't do that," or whatever. Because again, they're older, and we try to keep a um, short trail of painful breadcrumbs. So if dad screwed up or whatever, we try to talk about it that day and sort it out. And my wife is really good about pointing out to me when I don't want to hear it that I've been an asshole. And then it takes me to find the humility to hear she's not saying you're an asshole. What she's saying is the way you're coming at the world is the guy you don't want to be. Because I don't want to be a raging person, and I don't want my
exactly.
anyone to be afraid of me. Um, you know, and so yeah, it's been a healing process with the kids, but I would say it's gotten a lot better, and they're not afraid of me, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Like, and it's like that people need to understand what we're saying now in the right way. It's not that when we see somebody do wrong, we went and beat them up. But the problem is that something came out of us, this thing that they don't want to see, this the pure rage, I would say.
Yeah.
Pure rage comes out, and now you become this 2 meters giant demon that this, like, I have went in that zone, maybe, like, even like when I was like this guy was some, like, I don't know, like some mafia guy, some MC gang,
Right.
and he did, like, he stepped on my toes in front of my children. I don't care, like, if you, like, in what angel you are, you don't do that to me, I don't care that you don't do that to a man with his children. Please don't do that. They're like, you're police or whatever you are, don't offend a man in front of his children. That's like a death penalty in some countries, I can tell you. You really doesn't do that. Do like grown men should do. Go down to the parking lot, square it off, but don't do it in front of the children, please. So he did that, like, he pressed me down in such a bad way that I lost it, like, I was like so close, I was like, went to his face, and I'm not a long man. I'm like 168, right? So I was like, and this was the funny thing. It happened in the clothes store for children. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah, and this guy was like
Jeez.
190, like, and I think his underarm was like two of mine or something like that. And I like, oh, like it, like up, like, I was like you have, like, I said, like, you have exactly 3 seconds to back the heck down, and you don't see that I have my children here, like, or either you will have to kill me because I will kill you, like, this is not acceptable, He went so far stepping on me in front of them that I had no choice. And afterwards was the same thing. And then my daughter said, I don't like that, dad, she said. And I was like,
Yeah.
that dad is that thing that comes out, right? When you don't, when you can't, when you let the rage out, And then I asked myself that question that I always do if I have gotten into this situation, is that, could I have done it in another way? Yes, I could. Yes, I could have gently tell him, you know what? This is now how we treat each other, Like, come on, you have children, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I could have gone the total. So that's what I'm training on now, is doing the opposite flip instead of letting, the T-Rex out. I call the expression, let the T-Rex out. Because it doesn't give anything. It doesn't give anything at all. You only need the T-Rex when you need to defend for your life and your family. Then you should let it loose. Like, not even
Yeah.
let it loose. Give it a piece of entrecot on the way to encourage him.
Some nitrous. Hit the gas.
Hit the gas. Here's a Red Bull T-Rex. Come on. Do your thing
I
now.
thank God I haven't had to need and utilize that person in a long time. And so that is another thing I have to say to myself is the only time that really happened as an adult was this, oh gosh, it was 2003 or something, long ago. And nothing has happened. That's been so long, almost 20 years. And so reminding myself that it's not happening right now, The threat, a lot of times that I imagine, is also only my perspective. And I have to be reminded that I often equate things as a threat that need to be shut down. And sometimes things can actually dissolve on their own without the threat needing to be cut down the middle, Maybe there's a way to lovingly say something to someone like that. And that's, with a handicapped person being abused, or maybe you grab a couple other people and you say, hey, let's walk over here and say to these people, hey, we're not going to let this happen. And those people people like that just walk away. Because you know how bullies are. If you just talk to them and you look them in the eye, and actually if you're quiet and you say, no, you don't understand, this is not happening right now, they're like terrified. Half the time, you don't have to even go there. And you can have the adrenaline, because the adrenaline is also what helps people like you and me swallow fear and go do the hard thing. It's just, how do we not unlock the vault of rage that will destroy, physically someone. And maybe, like you said, bringing someone with you, um, you know, is the way to do it too. Like on the show where you were saying, talking through something, having someone next to you helps balance that to say, hey, here's another perspective. Because most of the time, it's just a perspective switch,
Yeah,
you know?
it's a perspective switch, and that's what I say,
Yeah.
that we don't need self-defense courses. You know what we need? We need
Yeah.
positivity courses with Sprinkle and Dimitris teaching
Let's
us
do
how
it.
to do that. That instead of letting the, I don't know, like maybe you have a lizard or a T-Rex or a vampire that you let out, but the result is the same. If you're with your children, they will be scared of you, because you become something that you're not in other like situations, right? You're a protector, right? So you must protect them. Yeah, that is right. But you don't need to go to the extreme. And that is what I regret. Every time I done it, I get so big anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Why did I have to get so goddamn angry that time, with that person? Even if they were wrong, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
humanist. So I feel sorry for them. Like maybe they were having a bad day, and this is what I did once, actually, that when I read The Secret, actually, that was like many years ago. I had read The Secret and I was so in love with that book in the beginning. Not anymore, but I was then. And then it was like I met this guy and he was like, yeah. And now I'm a grown up young man that now I can both. I can spot a bully, I can take a beating, I can beat you down, but I can also sense when it's like the rabbit T-Rex, I call them, that they're rabbit inside, but they are like they're T-Rex outside because of alcohol or something that makes
Right.
them become really tough, right? So now they're like, and then I also uh, I can spot the devil, I would say, when I run
Oh, yeah.
away. Yeah, and when I run away, I can tell all my friends, you need to run like hell when Eduardo runs away, because the devil exists, and I have looked him in the eye twice, and I can tell you, I pooped my pants. That is a person you don't want to meet. It has nothing to do with size. It has
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with gang they belong to. It's a person that is so evil. I would
Nothing to
say like
lose. Yeah.
American Psycho. I would say
Mm-hmm.
American Psycho. That is who you meet, and that's a person you don't want to mess with, right? So
Yeah.
this guy comes to me and he's going to beat me up, and we're both like both drunk and stuff like that. But I haven't done him nothing. And now I have like, okay, should I beat him up? Should I like run away? No, run away. It's hard for me to run away. I can't do that shit anymore. I don't run away. Yeah. Okay. So my wife said I have to be quiet. Okay, so I will finish the story, then we need to end. So what happened was that he come to me, and I see when somebody wants to beat me, right? So for me, it's more like, okay, I will punch him in the nose before I have the distance to do it, because it's milliseconds in a fight that you have. So somebody's rushing you, they stupid ones, they do this, they come with the face forward, and that is like a giving. If you're Mike Tyson, you laugh, because you know that it's game over, right? Now it's game over for this. Mike Tyson, boom, and then you're gone, my friend. And then it's like I just hugged him. I gave him a hug,
Mm.
and he's like, "What the heck are you doing?" Then I said, "I don't, man. Like you came so aggressive, man. Maybe you had a bad day or something. So maybe you need a hug, But you know what? Let's go to McDonald's. I invite you something to eat, and we can talk about it."
Wow.
And we did. We went and talked and ate
Holy
burgers.
crap.
Yeah. So I actually done it once, but only once. I wish I could do it every time.
So what happened? I know you need to go, but what happened that allowed you that time, you think, different?
I was inspired by positivity by reading The Secret. So
Okay.
if we're not inspired by active positivity, when we live in negativity, like the news is negative, like everything around us is like you say, Facebook is negative. It's the haters' haven. Like, so you need to be in a place where that negativity can, like you said, it's like pitching you, like, hey, this is what you can do instead, right? This is what you
Definitely.
can do instead.
I don't do the media either. Yeah, I don't watch the news at all in any regard these days. It's been almost 2 years. It's really strange, But for the most part, I feel like I get a safer, more well balanced news because I'm getting it from people like that have a different worldview, which is a better perspective, To hear American news from someone like you or someone like Dimitri or someone like Dorothy is a cool thing, or to, you know, uh, or to not pay attention to negativity coming at you all the time as well. That's
Yeah,
been the best part of me, and I think it also, when I watch that stuff or hear it, it's telling me that there's more out there all the time. It's just like me wearing the gun out of the house and preparing for it. It's like, now you prepared for it. Let me show you how shitty it is and how worse it's going to get. And now come news in 5 more minutes. It's always like, yeah, and then it's going to be even more disaster. And here's a chicken soup recipe in 5 minutes. And then you're like, what is going on? And so they try to give you this, and to realize that they're enticing me for a reason. They want me to stay and to go, wow, that's not wisdom. I can find all this information out in a better,
you
more
know what
well
we should
balanced
do?
way.
We should reach out to Dimitri and tell him that we're going to do this, not a self-defense course. We will do a positivity course, how to
How to let go.
neutralizing. Yeah, and not let go. That is for therapists, I would say. How to choose the positive in any situation. That's what we're going to do.
And we should
I
all
don't.
bring little situations where we can challenge each other.
I
How
will
could you
just.
be
I
positive
will.
about
I will
this?
just bring. I will just bring my wife. Like
Yeah, me too.
she's like, after 10 minutes, she's like, "Pa, pa, pa, you didn't put the trash and whatever." No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. This is a show, so we're like taking it to the extreme. We're not that extreme, right? So it's a show. So that's what we're doing here. It's a show, but the fact is the fact that you can choose, instead of what is the outcome from the show. I would say is two. One big thing you said in the end that is the best, I think, is that you don't need negativity to come at you all the time. You have the choice to turn off link. Like if you're on Facebook hating on Trump all day or his opponent, you have the choice to not be there hating on whoever, like Donald Duck or whatever you would like, don't like. You have that choice. The same goes with that guy that takes too long time in the line and you have a rush to whatever you have. You don't need to yell at him. You have the choice. And when
Yeah.
you go to that guy to confront him that is doing wrong, that you want to beat him up or whatever because you got so angry, you also have a choice to stay positive and calm. And the outcome will probably be better, right?
Well, you leave more energy for yourself as well. Because when I go into rage state or defense state, it drains my tank. I'm depleted and it wipes me out. And so it's not good for the world. It's not good for me. So if I could stay positive, um, my energy and my reach is much further. Now, if I engage my militant side, I can defend and I can shut things down, but I get worn out. The other
Yeah.
side, I don't get worn out. I don't run out of positivity or creative ideas. I could do this with you for 5 hours in a row. Like we could just keep going as long as we stay in the positive, and not, I won't ever feel drained, you know.
I think the next episode, let's go live next Saturday again, but then we bring Dimitri, and then we're going to focus only on that, tactics on choosing the positivity in
Definitely.
any situation possible. I would say self-defense is the only one where you maybe it doesn't need to choose positivity. you,
Right.
you need to knock somebody down.
And hopefully not, though.
Yeah, we will find out next Saturday when Dimitri Ortiz is going to stop elevating because now he's like on another level on LinkedIn. So, Positivity Guru, we're going to bring him back to the studio, and me and Darren, him, will talk about this and try to find the answer. How can we almost always choose positivity? Because
And
I
maybe
want that.
also leave room for failure for us
Yeah.
to go back, because when we're not, what do we do? How do we rebound when we go to the negative?
Yep. Yep. Okay, man, I have to leave this because else I will get yelled at again. So,
Awesome. Well, have a great rest of your evening. Get some
but
rest.
wait, you see that I didn't get annoyed? I took it like quite good, right? That
She's just loving you. It's time for bed.
yeah, yeah. This is what I did consciously, was that usually I see that people are doing a podcast and looking at their podcast, and then a kid come in and they panic, right? They're, right?
Yeah, my
Hey,
kid
damn it.
came in as well. Same,
Yeah,
same thing. And
and
who
I do the
cares?
same.
That's
Yeah,
life.
that's where I want to go. And that is what I did now. So I'm a little proud of myself that I didn't get annoyed at her. I was like,
Awesome.
"Oh,
Amen,
okay, okay,
brother.
okay.
That's good news. Baby steps.
Baby steps. Okay, man. I go to
Take
sleep.
care.
Thank you so much. So
All
this
right,
was
man.
just a warm. How you say repetition?
Yeah.
We did a repetition today. Next
Little
week is the full
practice,
show.
little warm up.
Yeah, it has a time slot. It has everything. Okay. See you, man.
See you,
Bye.
brother. See ya.